What is a true story from your life that sounds made up? Story 1. Someone on Reddit sent me a desktop from USA to Tunisia that kickstarted my professional career without even knowing my name. He even paid for the taxes, which were €300 IRC. I'll forever owe you this one internet friend, thank you. Story 2. When I was young, 8 to 9 years old, I loved to climb a very tall pine tree on the mountainside near my backyard. I climbed this tree almost every day because the view from the top was incredible. One day, I was climbing so I could get a good view of the sunset. When I was almost halfway up the tree, I heard a sound next to me and loomed over to see a mountain lion just chilling on one of the branches directly across from me, staring at me. My heart probably stopped beating for a minute lull. I just slowly climbed back down the tree and had a very paranoid walk back home. Story 3. My mom was estranged from her dad her whole life, but held on to a phone number that was supposed to be his. She finally worked up the balls to call him. His daughter answered the phone and told my mom that he actually died about a week prior. Story 4. When I lived in Florida years ago, one day while standing outside work with my boss, it started to rain on me and literally only me. For long enough that I was able to step in and out of it just like in the Truman Show. Made my boss, who was standing outside with me, pee her pants laughing. Story 5. I work in a job where there is a lot of pressure to make connections and bring in money. Got an email from a random small company just before I went on holiday, asking for a Zoom call in the next few days. Decided that for once I was going to draw a line in the sand and told them I wouldn't be available several weeks. Went on holiday somewhere 500 miles away and did some sightseeing. A few days and I ended up at a bus stop in a quiet rural area waiting for the bus back to my hotel. It is only one bus an hour and there is a while to go, but it is a nice day and I was enjoying being switched off from work, so I didn't mind just standing there. I look behind me and notice a building, which is in fact the exact company who had asked to speak to me. So after telling them I wasn't available to speak to them online, I completely randomly ended up standing outside their building 500 miles away on the same day they wanted to talk to me, with some time to waste. Story 6. I went swimming at night in the ocean, and my money and debit card was in my pocket. When I got out of the water, my pockets were empty. I went back at dawn with a snorkel and found the card, saw that shiny dove on the back in the seagrass, and even found a few of the bills too. I would have had no way to get money at all had I lost it. Story 7. Lucked out in a job interview. Got to the interview 15 minutes early and asked to wait in the hiring manager's office. On his table there were a number of pamphlets. I got bored and read one of them. The HM was a little later than expected, so I had about half an hour before the interview started. He asked, "What is it you think we do here?" and I recited the pamphlet. He goes, "That's a pretty good answer." I received an offer the next morning. 6 months in, and I'm doing well. He finds the pamphlet. He asked me during my 1-year review if I read the pamphlet, and I laughed, confessed, and then he gave me a glowing review and a raise. Story 8. There was a stranger sleeping in my bedroom, and I didn't know he was an intruder until my mom found out about him. My dad almost killed him when she tells. My kid self literally sleep with a complete stranger next to him and doesn't even flinch. Friends, before we continue our video, I want to remind you of the importance of subscribing to our channel. We are also waiting for your comments and likes. Thank you. Let's move on to the video. Story 9. One summer at the family cabins, we would ride our four-wheelers around, and when we got to one part of the trail, a raven would swoop down, grab the rear luggage rack, spread his wings, and enjoy the ride. He flew off as soon as you got to the end of the trail and would stay on as long as you didn't acknowledge him. Story 10. When I was a teenager in the 1980s, I was driving at night and took a wrong turn on a lonely stretch of road. When I turned around, I accidentally backed into a ditch and got stuck. I got out of the car, and less than a minute later a man in his 60s appeared on a bulldozer, stopped, and pulled my car out. He looked exactly like Clarence, the guardian angel in It's a Wonderful Life, and he was even tipsy. No other vehicles drove by. The place was otherwise deserted. In no time at all I was back in the car and on my way. Story 11. I worked as a tech at a company that made This was in Miami during the 90s. They would bring in lots of girls, some with their boyfriends, some independent. Everything paid in cash. Later on, the business got a lot more professional with proper testing and agents and legitimacy. But when I was involved, it was pretty sketchy. My role was only AT, thank goodness. Story 12. I was raised on the advice of a ghost my dad contacted via a Ouija board. It included buying goats and feeding me their milk. My dad was odd. Story 13. When I was a 5, my brother and the other kids at daycare dug a hole in an old family cemetery, chucked me in it, and left me there. I crawled my way out, told my parents, and they spanked me for lying. My brother finally told the truth when he was in his 40s, and my mom laughed like it was just something kids do. One of many attempted murder stories that my brother never got in trouble for. Story 14. I was once pissed on by a tiger in an indoor shopping mall, right outside the Fashion Bug. Story 15. I lived in an abandoned building from the age of 9 through 13. I wasn't alone. It was a community of us who just didn't have family or shelter. Then my mom got better, had been in a hospital, and my grandma found me and coaxed me home. I did not want to leave my new family for some reason, but memory is sort of sketchy on that time. It was in the 70s, Harlem. This is a good note to end on. Please rate your stories in the comments. I'll be happy to add them to future videos. Also, you can rate our other videos. We would be very grateful. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.